What the heck is going on here, guys? So Biden just handed out get out of jail free cards to a judge who sold our kids for cash and a fraudster who stole $54 million. Meanwhile, Trump is calling for an end to daylight savings time, which, let's be honest, guys, maybe he's onto something there. And now Rachel Maddow, she's dragging Luigi Mangione into her never-ending quest to link everyone to Trump. Oh, but wait, it gets even weirder, guys. Some woman catches a drone video and says it's weird. Like, try terrifying. Because Dan Bongino is right again. They know who owns these drones and they're covering it up. The deep state, the government, they're all in on it. And speaking of spending scandals, have you guys heard about the mail truck mess and the whole border wall scrap metal being sold off? Yeah. DEI grants burning through taxpayer money, border security in shambles, deportations nowhere in sight. I mean, are we even paying attention anymore, guys? This country is on fire and we need some answers. Tell me I'm wrong. I dare you tell me I'm wrong, guys. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. This really does help me out. I appreciate you guys. So yeah, victims are shocked about after Biden's granting multiple clemency to cash for kids judge and $54 million embezzler. I mean, so this week, President Joe Biden, he made a decision to grant clemency or official forgiveness to two individuals involved in some very serious corruption cases. So this has left the victims of these crimes feeling rather angry and shocked. The first person is Michael Conahan, a former judge from Pennsylvania. Conahan was a key figure in the notorious Cash for Kids scandal. In fact, in 2011, he was convicted of taking illegal payments called kickbacks from a for-profit detention center program. And this was in exchange for bribes. Conahan unfairly sent juveniles to these facilities even when they didn't even deserve such harsh punishment because of these kickbacks. It was awful. This particular case was considered one of the most shameful judicial scandals in Pennsylvania's history. And so the second person is an unnamed official from Illinois who was involved in a massive fraud case, embezzling $54 million. Embezzling means that they illegally took sums of money for their own personal gain. So it's horrible. They stole from people. And so both Conahan and the Illinois fraudster had been released from prison early due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and they're serving their remaining sentences on house arrest. Well, guess what? President Biden's decision now officially ends their punishment, meaning that they're now fully forgiven. They don't even have to complete the remainder of their house arrest. So a lot of people are not happy about that. So this clemency, it was part of a much larger decision by the Biden administration, where almost 1,500 convicted criminals were given a second chance. The White House explained that the clemency was based on certain criteria, like showing good behavior under house arrest. Yeah, big whoop. However, Biden's move has sparked a lot of anger and a lot of controversy, especially because, he's already criticized for pardoning his son, Hunter Biden, earlier this year after Hunter Biden was convicted of tax and gun crimes. So obviously, critics and victims believe President Joe Biden, he got it absolutely wrong by showing mercy to people like Michael Conahan, whose actions cause so much harm to vulnerable children and families. So yeah, it's pretty awful, right? So just a few hours ago, actually, Friday, President-elect Donald Trump announced that he wants to get rid of daylight savings time, calling it both inconvenient and very costly to the country. His statement actually came through a post on Truth Social where he was declaring that the Republican Party would work very hard to end daylight savings time. He explained that while there are some people who do support DST, it shouldn't continue because it causes unnecessary problems. So in his post, it said, quote, daylight savings time is inconvenient and very costly to our nation, end quote. So this really marks a little bit of a change from 2019 when Trump had previously tweeted, making daylight savings time permanent is okay with me. Now, let me ask you guys, do you think we should keep daylight saving time or get rid of it? Let me know in the comments down below, guys. So this shift in Trump's position kind of aligns with his Department of Government Efficiency Dodge directors, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, who also want to get rid of the time change. So Elon Musk, who is the CEO of Tesla and X, formerly known as Twitter, expressed his support for abolishing DST after seeing a poll on his platform. So Elon Musk posted, quote, "Looks like people want to abolish the annoying time change," end quote. So Vivek Ramaswamy, a Republican businessman, billionaire, agreed with Elon Musk and added that the time change is inefficient and easy to change. Although Trump, Elon Musk, and Vivek Ramaswamy are pushing to end daylight savings time, making it official would require Congress to pass new legislation. And in recent years, lawmakers have discussed the issue, but no real changes have been finalized. So I guess we'll have to stand down and wait for that, see what happens with that. But did you guys hear about Rachel Maddow trying to link Luigi Mangione to Donald Trump? Yeah. So MSNBC host Rachel Maddow recently made a very controversial link or connection between Luigi Mangione, a man who was charged with the murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, and Donald J. Trump's incoming administration. So Rachel Maddow highlighted Mangione's connections to ideas associated with the Unabomber, drawing a parallel to Blake Masters, a figure reportedly being considered for by Donald Trump for a key role in the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, the ATF department. But here's a little bit of background here. So Luigi Mangione, he was obviously charged with first-degree murder after being arrested in Altoona, Pennsylvania a few days ago, where he was recognized at a McDonald's. Authorities initially detained him on weapons and forgery charges before filing murder charges in Manhattan. If you guys remember, I was on site where this actually happened, where the entire altercation went down in the middle of Manhattan. It was crazy. You guys could go back and check out that video if you want. But he's currently in custody in Pennsylvania and will likely be sent to New York for further proceedings. But what connects Mangione to this controversy is his apparent support for the ideas of Theodore Kaczynski, also known as the Unabomber. So Kaczynski was a domestic terrorist who unalived 3 people and injured over 20 other people with his bombings across the U.S. in the 1970s, in the 1980s, and the 1990s. So Mangione, he wrote a positive review of Kaczynski's manifesto, Industrial Society and Its Future, on the book review site Goodreads. In his review, Mangione suggested that Kaczynski's ideas were worth considering, saying people dismissed the manifesto too easily and that some of Kaczynski's predictions about modern society were accurate. Well, Rachel Maddow, she pointed out that Blake Masters, a venture capitalist who ran for the Senate in Arizona in 2022, made similar remarks about the Unabomber, saying during a podcast interview, Masters described Kaczynski as a subversive thinker. Rachel Maddow suggested that this shared perspective is unsettling, especially since Masters is reportedly being considered for the role of leading the ATF under Trump's administration. In Rachel Maddow's commentary, she said, if it's him, Mangione, the fact that he's a professed Unabomber fan is unsettling. I might mention that it's even more unsettling that Donald Trump's reported choice to run the ATF is also a self-professed fan of the Unabomber. So this statement was actually echoed by independent journalist Ken Klippenstein on social media platform X, formerly Twitter. So yeah, this is Rachel Maddow trying to link Luigi Mangione to Trump's administration. What do y'all think about that? Y'all let me know, please, in the comments. So did you guys hear anything about these drones being spotted? So a video has surfaced showing a large drone flying over Bedminster, New Jersey, where Donald Trump's golf club is located. So the video shared with concerned commentary, it really just kind of captures what appears to be a drone spraying something into the sky. So in the video, you can hear a voice saying, "Look at him spraying. Look at that. He's spraying the sky again." Bro, this is freaking crazy, man. So the person recording seems very alarmed by the drone's activity and the fact that it's happening right over Trump's property without any consequences. The drone in question is being described as massive. Some people have actually said that these drones are about the size of an SUV, making the situation even more concerning to those who believe that this is a significant threat or unusual activity. Can you imagine if one of these drones that big fell onto somebody's house? Or, I mean, it could kill somebody. It's crazy. The big question here that's being asked is, why isn't the US government shooting these drones down? Why don't they know anything about it? Or why aren't they telling us anything about it? Now, some people are speculating that Space Force, the military branch responsible for space operations, must be aware of where these drones are coming from. The idea is that with advanced technology, tracking and tracking the source of these drones should be possible. So this leads to further questions about the drones and the drones' purpose and why they're being allowed to operate freely in sensitive areas like Trump's Bedminster Golf Club. So yeah, there's a lot of suspicion going on about that, right? And then there's this woman, she captured this drone video basically saying it's really weird. And I think that's an understatement. So recently, a woman named Lucy, who works as a social media editor for the Free Press, captured a video of unusual flying objects over Fairfield, Connecticut. So these objects, which appeared to be drones, sparked a lot of confusion and concern due to their strange behavior. Lucy described the experience as weird as she shared her footage, which showed several flying objects moving together in a pattern that really didn't resemble typical airplane movements. So in her video, Lucy can be heard counting the objects, saying, there's one, there's two, there's three right here. Crazy. I'm so confused. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. They're all coming together. What the actual bleep is going on here? The unusual nature of these flying objects prompted her to wonder where they were, whether they were drones or planes. But Martha McCallum, she actually interviewed Lucy and basically got to the bottom of the she got a lot more details about how unsettling this experience was. So Martha pointed out that Lucy's reaction was shared by a lot of people who just don't understand what they're seeing in the skies right now. And so in response to the public's concerns, John Kirby, spokesperson for the White House, addressed this issue in a press briefing. He said, "We have no evidence at this time the reported drone sightings pose a national security or public safety threat or have a foreign nexus." So he explained that, after reviewing available images, videos, many of these sightings appear to be lawfully operated manned aircraft and not necessarily drones with any malicious intent. Are y'all buying this? I almost feel like I'm getting gaslit by the likes of Karine Jean-Pierre, but instead this time it's John Kirby. Anyway, so despite John Kirby's reassurance from the White House, Lucy remained skeptical. She explained that after capturing the video, she spent time on the flight tracking website Flight Radar 24 to see if the objects matched any nearby plane routes. She recounted how she checked the time frame of 6:51 p.m. to 7:04 p.m. when she stopped filming. Even with this research, she couldn't confirm that what she saw were planes. And so Lucy said that the objects did not look, they did not sound, or even behave like regular planes. And her spidey senses told her that something was off. Hey, I trust my spidey senses. But Lucy describes the experience a little bit further, saying that, while she was filming, no one else noticed. She mentioned that unless people were actively looking for these objects, they likely wouldn't have seen them because the objects blended into the sky and appeared to blink like regular aircraft. Adding to the confusion, Martha shared her own experience of seeing similar objects. She noted that the first time someone pointed them out to her, the objects were flying in a circular pattern, which seemed kind of strange compared to the usual straight line patterns of planes preparing to land. Man, this is some crazy stuff here, guys. I think I'm going to have to spend a lot more time just staring up in the sky. probably more so at night, just to see if there's anything odd going on. Because honestly, if you're not looking up, you might not. I mean, like, you might not notice it, and if they're high enough, you might not hear it. So let me know if you guys have seen anything weird. I've got some friends out in Las Vegas. They live in they're like 20 minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Amazing friends that I've had for years, and every time we go out to Las Vegas, we meet up with them. Well, anyway, during the last visit, they were telling us about this massive UFO that they had seen, and they actually captured on their phone. And they were just saying, how cool it looked. And I'm just like, this is crazy. Like, if you think about it, they're not too far from Area 51. I'm just saying. And I don't even know what the heck is over there, but they got some interesting stuff. But there seems to be this muted panic that's sweeping through Washington, D.C., as a lot of the political establishments are bracing for Donald Trump's political return to power. And the concern is that Trump is coming back with more experience and a team of people who know how the government works and how to reshape it to fit their vision. Some people are even comparing this to a Jurassic Park scenario where, Trump-like dinosaurs loose and ready to cause chaos. But this time, he's not alone. He's bringing others with him, people ready to challenge the system. So a major shift is happening right now because Trump's incoming administration is attracting business leaders, entrepreneurs, rather than career politicians, professors, and economists. And so the idea is that these are real world problem solvers who understand how to build things efficiently and operate within a budget. And if they don't deliver results, they'll be fired, just like in the business world. So this approach feels very different from traditional government teams. And Trump supporters are calling it, the most real American cabinet the country has seen. I think it's a very cool idea. I mean, generally speaking, government officials, there's no accountability. If they fail, they still get paid. They don't get fired. So it looks like things are going to be different. I can't wait to see how this plays out. Elon Musk has also weighed in, saying that we're on the verge of the most dramatic transformation since the nation's founding. According to Elon Musk, the current levels of government waste are unsustainable and something has to change. I mean, look at the national debt, guys, right? So there's two options: cut spending and reduce waste, or raise taxes massively. Many people see this election as a very clear message that Americans don't want to follow a European-style socialistic model with higher taxes. I, for one, definitely don't. Instead, they want real reforms to make the government a lot more efficient. Surprisingly, though, some Democrats are actually open to these ideas. Concepts like shrinking the Department of Homeland Security or moving federal agencies out of Washington, D.C. altogether, maybe to other parts of the country, are gaining traction. Trump reportedly loves these ideas. And even some Democrats agree that there are too many layers of inefficiency in the government. And so this really rare cooperation between Trump's team and certain Democrats is making career bureaucrats very nervous. One example of government inefficiency came up during a conversation with a deputy secretary of defense about the massive $850 billion budget. And so when questioned why the Department of Defense has failed to pass an audit multiple times, the response was very defensive and dismissive, almost as if asking about the budget was like a personal offense. The level of arrogance in these interactions has really been shocking. So it makes you wonder, what are you really trying to hide? You shouldn't be offended by these questions. And one of the biggest examples of government spending under scrutiny right now is the purchase of electric mail trucks, guys. So guess what? The Biden administration spent $3 billion to build only 93 electric mail trucks, which basically means that each electric mail truck cost a staggering $32 million. This is a massive ripoff, guys. I mean, just for context, even a high performance Bugatti only cost about $1 million. So instead of a Bugatti, instead of getting 32 Bugattis, Biden managed to only get one electric mail truck. So it's making a lot of people question what the heck is really going on in Washington, D.C., right? Unbelievable. So the contract for these mail trucks went to Oshkosh Defense, a company that typically makes military vehicles. Now, critics argue that Oshkosh Defense knows how to secure federal contracts and maximize their profit, even if the costs seem excessive. Now, initially, they were supposed to be building like 60,000 trucks, but only delivered like 93 of them. The CEO of Oshkosh Defense is a defense donor, publicly stated that he's happy with the progress. Well, I'm sure he is. Selling these inflated and overpriced electric mail trucks to the government, to the American people. Critics believe that if the contract had gone to Elon Musk, the job would have been completed way more efficiently and for a lot less money. And then there's another area of concern, which is this $1 billion that was spent on DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion grants. And these grants are meant to fund programs promoting diversity and inclusion. But a lot of critics are questioning what these programs actually achieve. So, for example, the University of Honolulu, they received $20 million for a DEI program, which some skeptics joke could have actually been used for luau. $170 million was dedicated or allocated to DEI mental health training, but no clear explanation as to, what this actually entails. Now, they're asking whether this money funds sensitive training for white people or therapy sessions for Black communities. The lack of transparency is fueling frustration. And despite the massive spending, a lot of the companies dropped their DEI programs just this year, leading some to conclude that the entire $1 billion investment was just a complete waste. I mean, look at Walmart. Walmart's dropping their DEI program. This type of spending is blamed for contributing to inflation with everyday items like bacon, milk, eggs. I mean, bacon costing $11. And then let's not forget about another very controversial decision involving the U.S.-Mexico border wall, where when Joe Biden took office, he almost immediately halted the construction of the wall initiated by Donald Trump. And so instead of completing it, the administration began just selling off the leftover materials as scrap metal for pennies on the dollar. Steel from the wall is being auctioned off with bidding starting as low as $5 per steel bollard. Now, critics argue that Biden is essentially selling off the materials that Trump would need to restart the wall. And so this means taxpayers would end up paying full price for the materials again if the wall project resumes. Like, a lot of people will argue that in and of itself is just treason. Now, concerns are also growing about how the Biden administration handles illegal immigration and deportations. Some Democrats are accused of harboring illegal immigrant gang members, which make it very difficult for law enforcement to deport them. Border officials express frustration. Tom Homan, Donald Trump's new border czar, pointing out that if regular citizens can be prosecuted for harboring undocumented immigrants, then why can't the same rules apply to politicians that are obstructing deportations? So let me know if you agree with Tom Homan on this one, guys. Donald Trump's new border czar. An example mentioned is a situation involving a Venezuelan individual named Jose, who has a record related to trafficking. Critics say that some policies are preventing authorities from detaining and deporting individuals like him. And so obviously there's a sentiment that if someone has a face tattoo and a criminal background, that they should be immediately deported. But and there's this growing concern and frustration over these mystery drones spotted all over the United States with no clear explanation from the Biden administration or other government officials. And these drones have been seen in large numbers, and people are questioning, why hasn't there been more transparency about what are these drones and who's controlling them, who's behind them? Former President Donald Trump jumped into the conversation, calling out the government for staying silent. Trump posted mystery drone sightings all over the country. Can this really be happening without our government's knowledge? I don't think so. Let the public know, and now otherwise shoot them down. So Trump's statement reflects the belief that the government is aware of these drones, but is hiding the truth from the public. So the situation has also frustrated Senator Cory Booker of New Jersey, a Democrat who has criticized the lack of transparency. Booker said, quote, "There hasn't been enough transparency, letting people know what's happening. It's allowing a lot of potentially misinformation to spread, or at least fear," end quote. And despite being a senator from a state where many drones have been spotted, Booker doesn't seem to be getting answers either. Critics are actually urging Booker to demand answers from government agencies like the Pentagon or the CIA to inform his constituents. So, hey, people are expressing a lot of frustration that instead of addressing these drone sightings, the media seems more focused on Donald Trump being on the cover of Time magazine as Person of the Year. And so this recognition has sparked a lot of controversy because past recipients have included figures like Joseph Stalin, Adolf Hitler, and Vladimir Putin. Some media figures like Joy Reid criticized the decision, suggesting Trump's inclusion puts him in questionable company. Leave it to Joy Reid to find some kind of negativity about Trump. Meanwhile, there's this broader decision about Trump's resurgence in the public eye. With Trump making high-profile appearances and maintaining a strong following, he seems to have a lot of momentum behind him. In fact, this weekend, Trump plans to attend the Army-Navy game in Philadelphia with notable allies such as J.D. Vance, Pete Hegseth, and Ron DeSantis. Unfortunately, I didn't get an invitation, but that's okay. I won't take it personally. I'll just watch the game from home. But anyway, these public appearances, they kind of reinforce the sense that Trump is taking center stage while the Democratic Party struggles to present a unified leader. But the frustration's palpable. I mean, the public is left wondering. We're wondering about the origins and the purpose of mystery drones. Why the Biden administration remains silent. Why senators like Cory Booker aren't being briefed on the issue. Why the media continues to focus on Trump's Time magazine cover instead of the potential security threats posed by these drones. So, hey, there's a lot of questions out here and not enough answers if you ask me. Anyway, guys, I wanted to give you guys this update. I hope you appreciated it. If you haven't already, consider hitting the like button, join the family, our community, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you guys next time.